As you can see, the paint in my bathroom is completely cracked or chipping, spreading, flaking, all of it. So I'm going to tell you how to avoid this, whether you're painting the bathroom, you're paying someone to paint the bathroom, or you're like me and you bought a house that was painted, and how to avoid this problem. And as you can see, it's not just in the shower area, right? It's also over by my door. Everywhere that they painted is peeling and chipping, and it's an absolute ugly mess. Honestly, I would have rather them left it pink so that I could have dealt with it from the beginning than to have painted it with this cheap primer. And now I'm gonna have to go through and fix it all and repaint everything. See that pink? That would have been better. So first, if you're painting it yourself, you're gonna wanna use a primer that is made for a bathroom, especially if you're in an area that is humid, that is mold and mildew resistant, like Kilz, something like that. And just to let you know, it takes a really long time for this stuff to dry, like 24 to 48 hours. And you wanna be sure that it is dry prior to putting on your next coat. And the paint that you are putting on should be nothing less than a semi-gloss. It should be a high gloss, especially for an area with lots of condensation, like a shower, a bathroom. I know all of this may seem like basic knowledge, but you know what? These people didn't know, and they actually paid people to do this bathroom, which brings me to number 2. If you're paying somebody else to paint your bathroom, the questions to ask to avoid this problem. Number 1, when you're hiring a painter, listen to what they're telling you. If you're trying to go with the cheapest option, sometimes it's not always the best option, especially when it comes to a space like a kitchen or a bathroom. 2, if you're just gonna go with a primer like these people did, be sure to ask what type of primer they are using for the bathroom, and if it costs an extra $20 to $50, pay it, because it's worth it. Otherwise, you'll end up with this. And the key thing to remember with your painter is just ask all of the questions so you know exactly what you are getting. Don't be afraid. They love to answer questions. And sometimes you guys can work through stuff and see like where the dollars stretch to and if it's something you should be spending on versus, you know, a catastrophe like this. Third, and this is from my experience of what I should have done, and now I can tell you because I didn't do it, is when you are looking at a house in the bathroom, be sure to check and feel the paint on the walls. Ask the realtor what they use so that you can avoid this. Because 1, I did get this house through FaceTime, so I didn't have the opportunity to come in and feel it, but I also didn't ask the questions. And 2, when I got here, I did see that this was like a primer, but I didn't go in and paint right away. And that is my biggest mistake, because now I'm going to have to go through and sand and chip away all of this paint and then start from scratch with the Kilz and paint. And that's gonna be a whole hell of a lot more work than if I had just come in here and painted right away. I thought I could wait, and just learn from me, don't wait. My house in particular, we purchased it from a 96-year-old woman. It was a one-time owner here, and her granddaughter was the real estate agent. She was the one that went through and fixed everything up. But as you can tell, she went the absolute cheapest route. So if you are selling your house or you are flipping a house, I would say just spend the money on the primer in the bathrooms and the kitchens so that the people that buy it from you aren't left with this type of a mess to clean up, because I should have known better, especially having worked in flipping houses and things like that, but I just didn't have the time to do it, and now I am really paying for it. And if you can avoid that with your future buyers, like me, for instance, I'm so annoyed by it, I probably will never use that seller agent or the company that she works for, because I reached out, I asked for the painter information, contacted them, she said go with the cheapest, and she didn't tell me how cheap it wasn't disclosed, and that I would need to paint it immediately, especially being in a place with high humidity compared to, you know, California where I'm from, even though I did move here from New Orleans. So I should have known better, and I just want you to avoid this type of disaster if possible, because it's everywhere. It's hard to see, but it is everywhere. This is just the most egregious portion. All right, I hope that helped. If you have any questions, please let me know, and don't pull a Laura and do what I did and wait. All right, have a great day. Mwah.